The name is Gautam Adani, the richest person in the Asian continent and third richest in the world. In 2014, Adani was not even in the list of top 10 richest people in India. His net worth was just $7 billion. In a span of just 8 years, his wealth has skyrocketed to $133 billion. The reason? This man, Modi. No. If you're thinking of Modi, it's not correct. In an exclusive interview with India Today, Adani put an end to this debate. His wealth did not grow because of Modi, but because of government policies.
The fact of the matter is that my professional success is not because of any individual leader, but because of the policy and institutional reforms.
They say your net worth is based on your network. Though Adani clearly said it's not because of Modi, what is not surprising is that from the time Modi became Prime Minister, Adani's wealth has gone up significantly higher than the growth rate of Indian economy. What are these policies that helped Adani to dominate the coal sector? Let's get deep into the rise of Coal King in this analysis. First of all, let's look at the coal business of Adani. According to the Washington Post, more than 60% of Adani's revenue comes from coal business. Adani is the largest coal producer and trader in India. Even though coal is considered a dirty fossil fuel, why coal business? How did Adani know coal business will boom? This is where the government comes into picture. India is an energy-starved country. Power crisis is one of the major problems the nation faces. The demand for coal has gone up, especially after COVID. To avoid sudden power crisis, India needs to store more coal stocks. As per The Guardian, 70% of India's electricity is generated by coal sector. India is also the second largest producer and consumer of coal in the world after China. Well, you might be thinking India has pledged to reduce its carbon emissions by 45% by 2030. You see, 2030 is a very long time and even the government might change in this period. In reality, moving from coal to clean energy is a very long process and takes many years of transition. By looking at the demand for coal and power in India, I don't think coal mining is going to stop anytime soon. It has just started. One side there is high demand for coal, and on the other side there is Adani Supply, which has excellent transportation facilities. In between actually are the government policies that helped Adani to grow his business. Adani has coal plants across India and also in foreign countries. Mundra in Gujarat, which is the biggest coal plant of Adani Group in India. Tiroda in Maharashtra. Udupi in Karnataka. Raigarh and Raipur in Chhattisgarh. Singrauli in Madhya Pradesh. Godda in Jharkhand. These are the Indian coal mines. Carmichael in Australia and Borneo Island in Indonesia are the foreign coal mines belonging to Adani Group. Adani has been facing a lot of controversies in most of these coal plants, but Adani wins and always wins, not because of Modi, but because of the government policies. Adani is considered as the right person in the right place at the right time and all the time, because Adani's vision is aligned with the vision of India, self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Government has the vision to reduce dependency on imports and increase the coal production in India. Adani's company vision also matches the vision of nation building and increasing domestic production. On this vision, the government allowed privatization to significantly increase the coal production to meet demand in India. What is not surprising is Adani wins most of the contracts, and that is how he is contributing to power generation in the country. Let's look at the journey of Adani's coal business. In 1993, Gujarat invited private companies to run Mundra Port. Mundra Port is the largest private port in India. This is one of the most important investments of Adani's coal journey. In 1995, BJP came to power in Gujarat, and in the same year, Adani won the contract to run and operate Mundra Port of Gujarat. In 1998, Adani started coal trading from Mundra Port. In 2003, the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission gave Adani the highest F category license. What this license means is that Adani could do interstate power trading, not just in Gujarat. During this period, the central government was run by BJP. So it looks very obvious for people who think Modi supported Adani, right? In 2007, Adani got a big boost for his coal business. He began his coal mining business in Gujarat by signing a long-term contract with Gujarat Electricity Board. This contract is to supply 2000 megawatts of electricity. At that time, the Chief Minister of Gujarat was Modi. I'm not making this up, it is the fact. In 2009, Adani achieved a breakthrough in coal business. Adani got letter of intent to run Machakata coal block in Odisha and letter of agreement to run Parsa coal block of Chhattisgarh. What's interesting about this Machakata coal block is that in 2014, the Supreme Court had cancelled commercial coal mining because there were some irregularities in the auction, environmental consequences, and 9 villages had to be displaced. It makes sense because their livelihood would get affected. But in 2020, the story changed. The Ministry of Coal initiated coal auctioning in 5 states for commercial coal mining. Machakata was one of the prime coal blocks of this auction. Again, Adani wins. On the other hand, the Parsa coal block in Chhattisgarh had faced a lot of controversies. It is also because the mine is located in the forest region of Hasdo Aranya. Activists, researchers, politicians, and journalists had raised concerns about the consequences of mining, and a lot of protests had happened. But the Supreme Court refused to stay the mining project. Supreme Court said development is more important and there is no way this mining stops. If the highest legal institution says no, where will these tribals go? Again, Adani wins. Both the government and Adani are very much interested in this coal block because the forest region is very rich in natural resources. Estimated 5 billion tons of coal, and better news is coal is located close to the surface. So there is no need to dig more to get coal. Government had given approvals for 6 coal blocks for mining, and majority of these blocks, Adani wins 4 contracts. Similar controversies in another coal mining block in Godda of Jharkhand. Native villagers had to give up their agricultural land and had to be displaced. There were environmental consequences and the river they had depended on would get polluted. But for the government, these issues are smaller looking at the nation's development. This Godda coal block had issues earlier where the mining operations could not start because of certain environmental rules. But as usual, Adani wins the contract. Another reason why Adani is so much interested in Jharkhand coal mining is because of Bangladesh. Bangladesh will be purchasing power from Adani Group. According to the Washington Post article, Bangladesh will have to pay roughly $450 million a year along with maintenance and transportation charges. This is regardless of whether the coal generates electricity or not. After accessing the contract, the Washington Post reported if this contract is true, then there is nothing called neighbor first foreign policy. First of all, Bangladesh doesn't need this much power. Bangladesh has 40% more power generation capacity than peak demand. Let's hope Bangladesh is not trapped by India, because at this stage Bangladesh cannot fight India. The Carmichael coal mine in Australia is the world's biggest coal exporter and also the most controversial mine. For nearly 8 years, there have been campaigns by climate activists to stop this mining. There is even a website called Stop Adani which claims Adani Group is rebranding itself as leader in clean energy only to get more funds from global banks to grow its coal empire. Because of Adani's leadership in clean energy, the world's biggest investors are funding the Adani coal empire. The activists also claim that coal is the number one driver of the climate crisis, and at the same time, Adani is massively expanding its coal operations and the company is not reducing, which is true by looking at the coal expansion in India. There were protesters who would stop the train path that basically transports coal from the coal mine to the Adani port in Australia. These protests actually delayed the business for Adani, but the government gave go-ahead for the project. More than that, in April 2022, the comprehensive free trade agreement signed by India and Australia, which removes the 2.5% import duty on Australian coal. This again helped Adani. In 2007, Adani expanded its coal business to Indonesia. Adani acquired an exploitation license from the Indonesian government. The mining site is in Kalimantan on Bunyu Island. For generations, this island has provided abundant fish, rice, and fruits for its people. Large-scale mining has basically degraded the natural resources of this island. There was a huge controversy about this coal block. An advocacy group called Jatham had claimed that small islands less than 200 square kilometers are not allowed for mining. Bunyu Island is 198.3 square kilometers. But the sad part is the Indonesian government also has an amendment for this island because this is classified as a strategic development region because this is an oil-rich island. Again, Adani wins, not because of Modi, but because of the government policies. Controversies are not new for Adani. No matter how many controversies arise, Adani faces all and rises as the coal king. What I like about Adani is the hunger for risk taking and venture into large scale business expansion. One side, Adani is pouring all his wealth for his business, and the other side, Adani's business is running on debt. Adani's debt is estimated at nearly $20 billion. It's not a bad thing to have large loans, as the big conglomerates like Adani take a lot of loans to run massive business projects. It's not like Adani is going under loss, because his business has been growing and his stock prices are also increasing at the same time. Again, it's not because of Modi, it's because of government policies, which is the privatization. The good thing about privatization is the world-class infrastructure. But what I'm concerned about the privatization is the autonomy of these private companies. Another issue with privatization is the revenue sharing. Most of these projects have less or no revenue sharing for the government, apart from fixed fees. So naturally, most of the wealth in this country goes to few people. The question of this analysis is, when the government is so brutal in collecting GST from businesses irrespective of the size, they should also consider having a decent revenue sharing in the private projects. So the excess money from these projects can be used for citizens, apart from the basic fixed fees. What do you think? Write your comments in the below, and if you like this video, you will definitely like the next video linked on screen. I will see you in the next video.